Hi, I'm Neve,
I'm Lynsey.
and this is the Talking Notes podcast. And today we're going to be talking about something really fun. We are going to be talking about concerts. So we've both gone to quite a fair few.
I would say so. And a different range between us as
I would
well.
say, yeah, but I would say you're probably in better experience because you get to work with them in like a way. You get to
I
witness
work
them.
I work at a live concert venue and I also attend a lot of concerts as well.
Yeah, so I would say you probably see them more when you're able to at work. I know I've seen you at Ollie Murs.
Oh, I forgot about
when
that.
I went to Aberdeen for Ollie Murs. I did see you.
We were so close we could have high-fived. I don't think we did though.
I've seen so many people who knew that. I didn't want to see them. But no, so what's been your favourite concerts? Like your top 3 favourite concerts you've been to?
What a question. Okay. I would say Sum 41's farewell tour. That was the best concert I've ever been to. They have a song called Fat Lip and I happened to get a fat lip to that song. Because someone elbowed me in the face and it burst my lip and it was the perfect thing to happen during that concert. So I would say Sum 41 was number 1 for me. And then number 2, I would say the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then probably Guns N' Roses, number 3. And what about you?
See, this isn't like our music taste is so different.
This is what, we have completely different
they're
tastes.
completely different. And like when I speak to people about my music taste, they're always like, that it's so weird. But I would say
You're a country girl, aren't you?
I'm like country, but I also like my pop music. Like I'm all over the place. But I would say my number 1 would be
We all know it's Alex Warren.
Alex Warren. I love him a death. Number 2 would be Riley Green because I have a tattoo dedicated for him, so I can't exactly say it's not number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 3, probably the Eras tour. Like,
I forgot you're a Taylor Swift girl.
I do like her music, and like I just think the new album she came out with, in my opinion, it's not my cup of tea, and I feel like it could have been better. Like I know she did do, so while she was doing the Eras tour, she also wrote an album. Which was Life of the Showgirl, and I think it could have been done better.
Really?
My personal opinion, but then again, like it's
She
like,
has a song that's big right now, I believe.
Fate of Ophelia.
How does that go? Can you
It's
sing
like
it?
Fate Ophelia.
Yeah.
That one's really popular. But in past years, whenever she's done music videos, she doesn't like play the music. It's always like clicks, like what you would hear in in-ears.
Yeah.
But when she was doing that music video, everyone got to hear the music. Because it's like such a well-kept secret because of spoilers.
Yeah.
But her tour was so amazing, and I think it's one of the many, or probably the few that you see on social media where it's so big. Like,
oh yeah. So big it caused an earthquake in Edinburgh, by the way, where it...
Did it?
Yeah, it triggered a miniature earthquake in Edinburgh because there was that many people at the show.
I did not know that. I
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wasn't paying attention to that anyway. But, no, it was like so many people like created like communities, but they also started trends. So with Taylor Swift's, it was the friendship bracelets. So everyone would like create these bracelets and it'd have like Taylor Swift on, or like a name of a song, or because her albums, because she's got so many, they kind of all have different colours. So it's like red. Her album Red is obviously sort of associated with the colour red. And it's like
Ed Sheeran with his math symbols.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, and so you would kind of do it on theme. So depending on the album would depend on the colour, and so everyone would just trade bracelets. And I remember I did a few. I've got a couple at home that I made, and also that I got from other people. The chants during some of the songs, certain parts and certain bits of the show, she would sing a bit, and then we'd be like, whatever the chant was.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also know, like, the people who couldn't get tickets, they would stand and sit outside the stadiums
Oh, yeah.
she was performing at just to be able to hear her. And I know that was the same in, like, the US especially. I was seeing online so many people were just there, but they were dancing, they were having the time of their life. Like, it didn't matter if they could not physically see her,
Yeah.
because they were still hearing her. And then especially in the US, they made their own trends where one of her songs on stage, it's like kind of like a lantern kind of thing they've got as one of the props,
Mm-hmm.
and people in the audience started bringing their own.
What, their own lamps?
Kind of like lanterns with like it's kind of hard to describe. But like, I just think that's one of the good things I love about concerts, is not only is it you get to see, like, you know, your favourite artist and stuff, but you get to see the communities and the trends and the people who probably like form friendships from
Yeah, like
concerts.
the culture and the atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's like you also see like fan pages will do like fan projects.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those, like the book signing.
Yeah.
If you want to like write a message.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. Or it's like, I've seen one for Alex Warren this year in April. He's in the Hydro, but I've seen a couple. And it's like a picture of like the Hydro, and then it's like wherever you sit, you've got a certain colour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like bring like a piece of blue paper, tissue, or it's like you can get like a app where you can change the flashlight on your phone,
Yeah.
and like during one of the songs to like,
What, the colour of the flashlight?
yeah, I don't really know how it works, if I'm being brutally honest.
I don't know.
I was just going to use my actual flash torch thing. But no, so that's like, for example, one of the many things that can happen from a concert is communities being brung together. And it's probably different for every genre. Like, do you know any that's happened with like the ones you like to listen to?
I mean, not to that extent, not to that scale. I mean, I think Swifties tend to kind of band together as it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of girlhood surrounded by that. Whereas the concerts I end up going to, I find myself in the most extreme screamo punk concerts before, and I don't even know how I've ended up there, and they don't really do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You just kind of show up, throw yourself around, and go home.
Yeah,
Leave with a black
I
eye.
wouldn't label me a Swiftie though.
You know,
That like, I like her music and I would love to say I'm a Swiftie, but I also wouldn't, because like I just would hate to be associated with Swiftie with the stuff they do. Like, we don't need to hate people, like,
yeah.
but like, it's like, I think there's such a difference, like, as well. It's, so I went to see Riley Green in London in September for my birthday, and we were basically barrier, but I had seen online after, so many people were saying how they were stood at the back. People have like no manners when it comes to that kind of things, because apparently everyone at the back was just talking.
Okay.
He had two openers who were so good. One of them is Hannah McFarland, and she's so good. I've listened to her like every single day probably since leaving London. But like, people were talking through that. They were talking through his part.
I hate that.
And I'm just like, I'm someone who had to travel over 6 hours across the country to see this man,
Yeah.
to get barrier,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not even wanting to listen to this man or his openers. You did not have to come here.
I've been at concerts where fights have broken out over people literally just talking, or a lot of the time they'll be talking over the support act, and I think that is so rude.
I think it's rude. Like, if you don't want to,
And people don't realise how loud it is when they're talking over, especially when you're at the front
yeah,
and they're talking over the person singing. It's really distracting, and I've seen people been grabbed out by security for doing that because of the fights it starts.
I think they should either get some manners or get gone.
Yeah, or don't waste your money on this ticket if you're just going to talk over it.
I just think it's ridiculous, and it's like, what is the point? Like, we said it in a couple episodes ago that people now are tending to go to big concerts, so arena tours, then going to their local pub because concerts are a luxury for people. They're not really wanting to splurge the money, but like, you know, you would if you're going to the pub consistently and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they would rather go to something and see someone that they know they're gonna like than go to something they probably won't.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a factor, but it's like, don't show up if you're not gonna be respectful. I will throw hands if that happens at Alex Warren.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing Jordan Davis soon, actually. I forgot I was seeing him.
Exciting.
It is in,
Well,
20 days.
20 days, and where is
Recording this. It is Hydro, so I might be seeing another country person, Chris Summon, with my friend Hannah, in the Hydro again, so there's a potential possibility that the Hydro will be seeing me in the next 3 months. 3 times.
Well, that's exciting.
I just love a concert. I love a concert. Like, I think where I grew up, more the north, it's so much harder to go to concerts
Oh, yeah.
because everything is mainly Glasgow. You've got a couple Edinburgh, but they're mainly predominantly Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
You may have a couple in Aberdeen, but even then where I
No,
live,
my home,
it's-
we don't have any of that. It's an island, so you literally just don't... You can't even travel by train to a concert. You need to book the ferry, and then the bus, and then a train.
it's just so expensive, so much hassle, and although it's like where my family and stuff live, it's like 3 hours push, like by car or by the train. Again, it's a push, but it's like even that was, it's so much money, it's so much hassle. Whereas I live now, I can hop on the train, go to Glasgow, and get like the bus back.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like being in Aberdeen at the moment. It just means I can just hop on any mode of transport and go to any concert I like, instead of having to worry about booking a plane to leave the island or get on the ferry somehow.
Another thing I have noticed is Americans are coming over here now for concerts. So Harry Styles, he has announced his tour is going on. The UK have barely any dates. He's not coming to Scotland. He's doing London. I want to say he's doing a good couple of shows there. He's doing maybe Manchester and Birmingham. And I think that might be it. It might be a couple more places, but I don't really know off the top of my head. I'm not really a big fan of them.
So,
And prices were extortionate, apparently. Like, people were saying it was so expensive, like, they weren't expecting it.
well, they should have, honestly, at this point.
I mean, you probably should, yeah, at this point, like you said, but it was so bad. Like, the pricing, the amount of shows we have, bearing in mind he's doing Madison Square Garden, several shows in a row. Like, it's over 10 shows, I believe. Again, don't quote me, but I believe he is doing, like, over 10 shows in Madison Square Garden in New York.
Wow.
For
I
his-
did hear that, actually.
For his American leg. And Americans are coming over here because it's cheaper, apparently. But I think there's a difference between me going from Scotland to England, and I don't really think that's a big thing. Whereas when you've got, and it's nothing to do with Americans, it's to do with anyone really, like going from your country to another just to see an artist when you have so many more shows than us. I think it's ridiculous. Like with Era's tour, there is an American lady, and I was just like,
I mean, Harry Styles should know we need it in the economy at this point. We need him to be touring the UK more than the USA.
yeah.
Anyway.
But I just, so there are so many things that trigger me with people in concerts. Honestly, it's a joke. But I just think it brings in so much economy though. So Sony, for example, like Era's tour, again Taylor Swift. She was in Scotland 3 days. She not only broke a world record,
She did.
but you know, people are traveling. They're going to be staying in hotels. They're going to be travelling, tourism is going to go high, and especially music and tourism. When people, travel to a place, but they also then discover and do tourist stuff, obviously, goes up. So I suppose that's also one good benefit when it comes to concerts.
See, I do have a comment for that, but that's for tomorrow's episode, or next week's episode. I have a comment about her, it's not something Taylor did herself, it's more so the economy and what happened with that tour.
I think I know what you mean.
But my concert review is on Biffy Clyro.
Yes, you were telling me about this.
Are you a fan of Biffy Clyro?
Not really. I don't really think I've ever actually listened to a song of his, if I'm being brutally honest.
If I'm being brutally honest, I'm kind of the same, and I wasn't aware that they are a Scottish band, which I feel ashamed of. But when I was working, so I work at P&J Live in Aberdeen, as you know, it was on a Tuesday, and there was 11,000 in the stadium out of 15,000, which I was expecting it to be fully sold out because everyone was talking about Biffy Clyro coming to Aberdeen.
No.
But for a Tuesday, I think that's a decent amount of seats to be sold.
I would say I never really want to leave in bed on a Tuesday, so...
Yeah. Well, he had 2 support acts as well. He was supported by The Armed. They're an American hardcore punk band from 2009. And they played first. They were very high energy, kind of ear-piercing guitar. Definitely not radio friendly. But I liked them. I thought they were pretty good. And then they had a second support act called Soft Play. And they are a rock duo from England. These guys were quite interesting because they were quite rowdy. There was a lot of profanity. But they had a song called Girl Fight. And it's a 15-second song where they get all the women to form a mosh pit in the circle. They exclude all the men. It's a strictly woman-only mosh pit. Which it was really cool to see.
I can imagine that would be really cool to see. Were you working it or were you actually watching it?
So I was working it. So I work in the suites. As you know, I'm a private host. So basically I serve the clients in the suite, in the arena, and I'm there for the whole concert. I see the whole thing unless I'm leaving to stock up.
Yeah.
So I was up on the balcony watching all these girls mosh, and I thought I was so good. The only thing is they had to keep asking the crowd to give more because Aberdeen is notorious for having a really boring crowd. Yeah. Even when it's comedians, it's quite embarrassing. When I was working Bryan Adams, he stood up, he stopped his set in the middle, and he was like, "What's going on? I thought this was Scotland. Why isn't anyone singing along or anything?" And it's just the Aberdeen crowd. And we don't know why, but
I was gonna say I've experienced that when I went to Ollie Murs. It was Blue was the supporting act, and I don't even know who Blue is, if I'm being honest, but I think that's because they're more for the older generation.
They're from 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, which I probably knew a couple of their songs, but even then, I was just waving my hands in the air, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there was nothing. They were come on, doing their thing, and there was nothing. And even when Ollie Murs was on stage, which, Ollie Murs is probably part of my childhood. Literally, there was probably not a lot of people actually.
Yeah.
They were, and I'm just see if I go to Glasgow or Edinburgh,
it's completely different.
I might as well get hearing aids and need new ears because of how loud it is.
Yeah.
So I just think it's ridiculous, how bad Aberdeen can be for a concert.
It is quite embarrassing. But basically, since we're not too familiar with Biffy, as we should be, they are a rock band from 1995, and they were formed in Kilmarnock.
Ooh.
So they played Aberdeen on the 20th of January. And I would describe the atmosphere as chaotic because there was people fighting. They had to stop the set. Security had to go in and drag a bunch of people out. I was not expecting that for a Tuesday evening. They were very good because they were kept thanking all the fans. It was very energetic. And yes, it was his Futique tour.
Oh.
But I loved the atmosphere. I loved the energy of the crowd. It all felt like such a full, chaotic evening. And I would highly suggest you go see Biffy because you will know a lot of their songs.
Oh, well, I'm gonna do what I did last week and like make a little mental list and listen to everybody.
I would suggest Many of Horror and Bubbles.
I'll
I would
probably
say
message you, like, make you like message me later with all these.
they're definitely. I'd say they're more streamed songs. That's for sure.
Yeah. Try to think. Alex Warren was probably, like I said, he was my number one, and he is an American artist. He started putting out songs about 2020, 2021. And a lot of people resonate with Alex Warren, so he really does. He writes a lot of his
It's like
music.
JLS again.
Yeah.
Bringing
He he speaks a lot about his past through his songs, so like his parents' death, how he met his wife. Kind of, it's real experiences. It's how he feels. But he came over and played the O2 in Glasgow last March, and it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was March anyway. And he interacts with the crowd so much. He had, so his set for his tour was like 2 couches, and he would allow, like, fans would go up and sit on the couches and everything and interact with them, and it was quite funny. You'd see it all over social media. For Glasgow, he wanted to see if he could hear someone from the very, very back of the seating bit. So someone proceeded to shout, "Alex, is your and Mrs. single?" And he had to say that at least 2 or 3 times, and he still had to get someone from the crowd to translate. But it was so funny, and he was like, "Oh, I did an ancestry test, like, I'm like this % Scottish, like, when am I coming home?"
And he's American, right?
He is American, yeah, but
They all say that.
I know, but I believe him.
Yeah, you want it to be true.
I want it to be true, yeah. But no, like, I don't, there's something about Alex Warren that I absolutely love, but everyone connects with his music, and yeah, at the end, he, like most artists do, they'll leave and then they'll come back for like a song or 2. He came back on stage with a bagpiper and a full-on kilt, and it was also quite funny because you could just hear everyone's accents, which I think is quite funny. But no, he just came out, and I think that's the one thing I love when American or artists who aren't from Scotland do. They'll bring some part, like a flag, bagpipes, kilt, whatever you can think of, you name it. They'll kind of like fuse that with their show, and I think that's quite cool that they kind of just tailor it, I suppose, to where they are.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite cool.
Yeah.
I think I did get ripped off though by fake merch.
It happens. It happens to all of us.
I didn't realise until I saw a video of him, like, he was outside one of his venues, he was like, someone's selling fake merch. And then, yeah, but that's that's the first and the last time I ever get a hoodie off the streets of a venue, I tell you that now.
And, should we end it?
So, this is our episode done. You can check out our other ones, and we'll see you back for next week. I'm Neve.
I'm Lynsey.
And we'll see you next time.